A $500 commercial drone carrying a basic shaped charge drops directly onto the turret roof of a $15 million Western main battle tank, triggering a catastrophic secondary explosion that tears the multi-ton armor structure completely apart. In an era where traditional heavy armor has become profoundly exposed and vulnerable across the plains of Eastern Europe, KNDS Deutschland from Germany has officially deployed a radical technical countermeasure known as the Leopard 2 Arc 3. This experimental platform introduces an entirely uncrewed, low-profile remote-controlled combat turret, structurally removing human operators from the upper chassis and placing them into a heavily reinforced survival capsule deep inside the forward hull. Military data from recent high-intensity conflicts confirms that over 70% of heavy armor losses are caused by top-down loitering munitions hitting the thin upper plating, rendering conventional crewed turrets a statistical liability. With the multinational main ground combat system flagship project officially delayed until at least 2045 due to industrial friction, European frontline nations are facing an immediate capability gap against advanced battlefield threats. Leading global defense analysts argue that on paper, the only tactical salvation for existing fleets is an immediate shift towards structural automation, lowering the total vehicle mass below 60,000 kilograms to preserve operational mobility over fragile regional infrastructure. The second prototype, known as PT-02, has recently entered rigorous field evaluation at the Klitz training ground in Saxony-Anhalt, validating an automatic linear loader capable of cycling 3 rounds in 10 seconds, while lowering the vehicle's silhouette exposure by a massive 30%. When algorithms govern the primary armament and human flesh retreats beneath the tracks, we must question if mechanical reliability can truly triumph over raw field attrition. Before we go on, if you want to master the raw technical truth of modern combat systems, hit that subscribe button right now. And tell me where you're watching from. The profound strategic crisis gripping Western heavy armor stems directly from a historical design philosophy that has officially reached its physical and logical limits. For over 40 years, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization countered emerging battlefield threats by continuously adding massive layers of passive and reactive armor plating. This linear evolution caused the original Leopard 2A4, which entered service weighing 55,000 kilograms, to balloon into the modern Leopard 2A7V and Leopard 2A8 variants, which tipped the scales at an astonishing 67,000 to nearly 70,000 kilograms. According to official military logistics and engineering assessments across Western Europe, this extreme weight has broken the back of regional transport infrastructure. Modern European theater maps indicate that over 60% of civilian bridges in Central and Eastern Europe are rated for less than 65,000 kilograms, meaning these multi-million-dollar main battle tanks are structurally blocked from crossing or risk collapsing vital supply routes. Furthermore, this weight inflation has done nothing to protect against the top-down geometry of modern loitering munitions. The traditional 3-man or 4-man crewed turret requires massive volume, forcing designers to extend heavy armor over a vast surface area, leaving the roof inevitably thin. At the exact same time, the broader geopolitical solution meant to replace these aging fleets has completely stalled. The main ground combat system, a highly publicized joint initiative between France and Germany to build a 4th-generation combat network, is paralyzed by industrial friction over market share and intellectual property rights. Frontline defense planners are now forced to acknowledge that this gridlock leaves European armed forces without a viable next-generation successor for the foreseeable future, creating a dangerous 2-decade strategic vacuum as older armor fleets grow completely obsolete against autonomous threats. To bypass this technological deadlock, KNDS Deutschland engineered an aggressive mechanical restructuring that defies traditional armor design. The cornerstone of the Leopard 2 Arc 3 is its innovative zero-intrusion unmanned turret, a system that sits completely external to the main chassis without plunging a massive basket into the hull. By removing the traditional crew positions from the upper structure, all three operators are relocated into a heavily shielded, climate-controlled survival capsule buried deep in the lower nose of the vehicle, reducing the dangerous turret profile and immediately multiplying crew survivability metrics. This structural shift allows the tank to strip its combat weight back down below 60,000 kilograms, instantly restoring the vital strategic mobility required to safely navigate 60% of the fragile civilian bridge networks in Eastern Europe. The firepower configuration of this uncrewed turret introduces several highly sophisticated elements designed for modern high-intensity warfare. An advanced mechanical autoloader replaces the human loader, demonstrating a rapid cycle speed that can fire 3 rounds in 10 seconds, which translates to a devastating rate of 18 rounds per minute. For close-range defense, the turret roof integrates a remote weapon station armed with a 30mm automatic cannon, utilizing programmable airburst ammunition specifically calibrated to shred the propellers of oncoming loitering munitions. This primary remote weapon station achieves an unprecedented 25-degree elevation angle, granting the tank the tactical flexibility to engage low-flying aerial threats or combatants hidden in multi-story urban structures. Furthermore, the modular architecture of the Leopard 2 Arc 3 is engineered for seamless future scaling, allowing frontline defense ministries to easily swap the standard 120mm smoothbore barrel for the monstrous 140mm Escalon gun system without altering the core chassis. With field trials accelerating through 2026, this technology is projected to enter the market as an efficient retrofit kit costing between $6 million and $8 million per vehicle, offering nations like Poland and the Czech Republic an immediate, cost-effective pathway to deploy fourth-generation capabilities within the next 12 months. Despite the undeniable engineering brilliance of this automated platform, the shift toward complete digitalization introduces an entirely new layer of battlefield vulnerabilities that defense planners cannot ignore. By trapping the three operators deep within the lower chassis, the crew becomes 100% dependent on an external array of high-definition cameras, thermal imagers, and electro-optical sensors to maintain situational awareness. If enemy artillery fragments or low-caliber automatic cannon fire shatter these exposed optical glass lenses on the roof, the tank suffers an immediate mission kill. Even simple environmental factors like thick mud and heavy smoke can effectively blind a multi-million-dollar combat vehicle while its heavy hull armor remains completely unpenetrated. Furthermore, to shave the combat weight down below 60,000 kilograms, the uncrewed turret structure is protected by only a light aluminum and steel alloy skin, making the complex automatic linear loader highly susceptible to jamming or permanent physical deformation if struck by a standard 57mm projectile. If the reloading mechanism fails in the heat of a high-intensity engagement, the isolated crew has zero physical access to manually service the weapon system, forcing an immediate tactical retreat. This reality highlights a fascinating split in global military doctrine. The Russian Federation attempted to pioneer the uncrewed turret concept with the T-14 Armata, but ultimately failed to achieve mass production due to a severe shortage of Western microchips and high-precision electronic components. In contrast, Germany has successfully materialized this concept through the Leopard 2 Arc 3 by utilizing a mature, pre-existing industrial base. We are now witnessing a fundamental clash between two military philosophies: the traditional heavy, mechanically simple platform that relies on brute mass versus the ultra-modern, digitized system that prioritizes crew survival at the cost of sensor fragility. If you were commanding a frontline unit on the modern battlefield, would you trust your survival to a heavily armored conventional fortress or a highly agile, automated digital sensor node? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more precise, data-driven military analysis.